Well, the idea of a whole new year brings with it a rush of emotions, and most of them good, but some of them can be difficult. What feelings of fear, insecurity, anxiety, or even depression are creeping in more than you'd like. I want you to hear my chat with author Blake Bauer. His book, You Were Not Born to Suffer, is an international bestseller.
It's such a pleasure to welcome author Blake D. Bauer to the show today. Blake, how are you?
Hi, Claudia. I'm good, thank you. Thank you for asking.
Well, absolutely. You know, I've been reading your book, I'd say for the last few days, and this right here is very powerful. I mean, a lot of the things that I've read really speak to me. It's called You Were Not Born to Suffer. Blake, let's talk about this book and the inspiration behind it.
Well, as you've probably already learned, Claudia, I struggled with drug and alcohol addiction as a teenager and was pretty out of control to the point where I was arrested a number of times. And I got a very bad DUI at the age of 17 on drugs and alcohol. And I also happened to be a captain of the varsity football team in high school with interest to play college football. And I got kicked off the football team after this DUI, and it really, shattered my world and my identity. And I spiraled downhill from there and became very suicidally depressed at the age of 18, at a time when you're trying to figure out your place in the world and what to do with your life. And I was very lost. And so that was the beginning of a healing journey for me, where I went on this quest to figure out how to be well and to overcome feeling so unwell inside of myself, and also to understand my place in the world, my purpose in this life. And that led to a series of events that led to the book.
Yeah, I love that you share your personal experience, how you overcame that, because that's huge. And I commend you for taking all of that and giving us back a piece of what you've learned. This book, I sense, is all about learning to love yourself. And I also agree with you that once you are able to do that, you see things so differently. But Blake, why do you think that is so hard for so many people out there? I mean, even myself, sometimes I get the guilt factor.
Well, most of us spend our entire lives relating to ourselves in a very unhealthy way, so doing the opposite. And that's what we learn in childhood, and that's how we relate to ourselves throughout most of our lives. So it's a very hard habit to break. So the idea of being kind to yourself, being loving to yourself, being there for yourself is very foreign to most of us. And then, like you said, when we start to learn the importance of valuing ourselves and taking care of ourselves, we come face to face with this guilt, and we doubt ourselves, and we ask ourselves, am I being too selfish for wanting to take good care of myself? Am I being too selfish for wanting to attend to my deeper feelings and needs and desires, and not just please everybody all the time or do what everybody else is doing? And it's a big block that holds a lot of people back for most of their lives.
Yeah, that is so true, especially in motherhood. Oh my goodness. I just feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing the right things for my kids. I can't do this for myself. Let's talk about anxiety, negative thoughts, because I feel like right now, the anxiety is like at an all-time high for a lot of people. How can we best deal with situations like that, or when we're getting the negative thoughts? What's a good way to get rid of that?
Well, one important thing to understand is that we all struggle with negative thoughts and with these different voices in our head that sometimes don't feel very good. And there's a lot of shame around it. And so
Mhm.
we stop ourselves from asking for help. And I think one of the biggest things that can help us is just to ask for help. There's actually no shame in struggling with negative thoughts. And there are actually good people out there that want to show up for you and can help you through whatever you're struggling with inside of yourself.
Okay, and that all of that makes perfect sense. Now, also in the book, it talks a lot about self-confidence, which is hard to achieve. I have teenage girls, and I'm right in the middle of dealing with that, and it really happens in all age ranges. Let's talk about that. How can we build more self-confidence?
Absolutely. So, my philosophy is that our self doubt or our lack of self confidence really comes from us not trusting ourselves. And the reason we don't trust ourselves is because we've been mistreating ourselves and hurting ourselves for most of our lives. So all the negative critical self-talk where we put ourselves down and we judge ourselves leads us to not trust ourselves. When we feel something or need something or want something and we internalize it, we don't express it, we're hurting ourselves. And this leads to a lack of self-trust over time. So if you want to trust yourself, which is the key to self-confidence, you have to become your own best friend, which means you have to take really good care of yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically in every situation and relationship.
Okay, now that can actually be achieved, right? You can get better at doing all of this, and your book is absolutely amazing. I'll tell you, Blake, that some of the key affirmations you have in here really, really spoke to me. So I absolutely love so far what I've read, and I can't wait to finish it. Well, congratulations. This is an international bestseller. Now tell everyone where they can get their copy of this book.
Oh, thank you, Claudia. It's on Amazon and you can find it at Barnes and Noble, Audible, anywhere you like to listen or read your books.
Got it. Blake D. Bauer, everyone. Thank you so much for your time, Blake. And again, I can't wait to finish this book. So great, great job. And thank you for sharing that with us.
Oh, thank you, Claudia. Lovely to meet you.
You Are Not Born to Suffer by Blake D. Bauer is available now wherever books are sold. Learn more about him on his website, unconditional-selflove.com. And I have 2 copies of You Were Not Born to Suffer to give away right now. Send an email to mycoco@9news.com right now and put the word book in the subject line. Winners will be selected at random and contacted later on today.